welcome to my beautiful unschool life. Today I'm telling the story of building Erin's tiny homestead here on my boyfriend Don's 2-acre property. The theme of today's episode is the juggling act. There's this phenomenon that other homesteaders have warned me about, which I fell prey to, and which I think everyone falls prey to at one point or another, where we get the animals before we have somewhere for them to live. Oh, I'm sure we'll finish the coop before they get big enough to need it. That's what we say, and the truth is, time goes a lot faster than we think, and before you know it, you have too many animals and nowhere for them to live. And thus begins the juggling act. So we need homes for my 2 breeding female rabbits. We need a home for my buck. We need homes for the 2 babies that I promised the girls that we could keep one of them because their father was the girl's favorite rabbit and he died. We have my laying hens. There's about 20 of those plus 1 rooster. We have my ducks. There's 3 ducks, but they cannot be kept with the rooster because he attacks them. We have the teenager chickens. There's about 12 of those. They're a mix of the offspring of our layers and some silkies. Then we have the tiny chicks. They're a mix of the offspring of our layers, and then we also have some silkies and some pokies in there. Pokies are a cross between a silky chicken and a Polish chicken. We also have the meat chickens. There's about a dozen of those who are pretty accurately portrayed with this picture. Now, the available accommodation is: we have the chicken coop that I built when I lived at the girl's dad's house. We have 2 rabbit cages. One is actually a dog crate that I've modified, and then the other is a cage that I built when I lived across the road. We also have the haunted trailer, which was left over from the previous tenants who used it as a chicken coop. And then we also have a mysterious room in the back of the shed that I call the panic room that we have converted into a brooder room. The mama rabbits and the baby rabbits are in the big cage together. The buck is in the dog crate. My laying hens and my rooster are living in the small chicken coop. The teenage chickens and the meat birds have been living in my tiny house, but that is a very unsuitable place for them to live. So we moved them into the haunted trailer. The chicks, which have been in Dawn's house up until this point, have to get out of Dawn's house because they're getting too big. So we moved them into the panic room that's in the back of the shed. The ducks are currently in with the layers, but they don't like being in with the layers. What we really need to do is put them in a new coop, but the new coop is only halfway finished. And it's about to get more complicated because the mama rabbits are pregnant. This is our 3rd try with them. They had a litter in March that was eaten by rats. They had another litter in May that most of them died during an unseasonable heat wave. We like to have about a dozen rabbits to put in the freezer at the end of the year, so we tried for a 3rd time. So they're pregnant, they're due in August, and we need a new place for them to live. The best place for them is going to be the brooder room because the brooder room has the best regulated temperature, and we don't want to lose babies to the heat again like we did the last time. To move them into the brooder room, we're going to have to get the chicks out of there. Where the chicks can go is into the haunted trailer, but to put them into the haunted trailer, we need to get the teenagers and the meat chickens out of the haunted trailer. Now the meat chickens, that's pretty easy. They need to go to freezer camp, which is about a day's worth of labor, and then that problem is taken care of. The teenagers, on the other hand, need to go into one of the big coops. But we can't put them in the coop with my other rooster because there's too many roosters and they're going to fight. So what we want to do is put them in the other coop with the ducks. So we really do need to finish this coop, but actually the ducks and the young chickens would do better in the smaller coop, and the layers and the rooster would do better in the bigger coop. And then everyone will have a home. For now, because these mamas do have babies. They have quite a lot of babies, and before they reach 3 months old, we'll need to find a home for the male babies, the female babies, and the moms, because Dawn doesn't really want his shed to smell like rabbit for forever, which means we're going to need at least 3 more cages by October. And then I promised Bethany that if she proved that she could take care of an animal by taking care of the meat rabbits for 2 years that she could have her own pet. So she's chosen to have a rabbit, which means we have another rabbit coming in, and we're going to need another cage for that rabbit. Did you catch all that? But yeah, they're almost the same size as our chicks that are a week old. So the chickens in here are all the same age. They're just 3 different varieties. So these are the Ranger, whatever they're called. These are the medium growth meat chickens. That is a rooster from one of ours. And then those are some silkies. This guy here is so big. This one almost looks like it's poop. Why are you eating a feather, Silky? Honestly, why are you eating a feather? Can I pull that out of your mouth? Because that's not food. This isn't food. Thanks. That's all the way in its mouth. Oh my god. Oh my goodness, that was adorable. Do it again. Hey guys. She's been in here for less than 12 hours. And that's already how much poo she's had. There's 2 of them, but I think the one's been in the box all night. Hey, you were in there when I went to bed last night. And now you're still there. That should do it. If we need more, I got loads in my socks. So Peep is the first to check out the perches. Penguin is investigating the nesting box situation because the hens have complained that these boxes are too small. What's the situation, Penguin? Can we live with it, or do they need some modifications? We just want to count them.
I can't see. Oh, that's a little gray bunny. Or white.
Make sure there's nobody dead and make sure all their bellies are full.
Oh, so that's 1. Oops. I'm going to name this one 2. And talking tail. I'm going to name 1 talking tail. So that's 3. No, dumb 1. Okay, I'll go. I do this. 1, 2. That's 3. 1. Oh, 4. I need to make a hole. We got 4. 5. 6. That's it. There's 6.
That's it? There's 6? Yeah, that's what I thought too.
No.
All right, can you put them back in their little bundle in the back?
Oh.
There we go. Nice work. Yeah, for sure. And then pull that back over.
Cute little bunnies.
You're pretty cute.
There
you go.
And I got into the bunnies. Remember the come on, Rose. Come on, Rosetta. First off is Rose. Zoom, zoom. Next up is Horna. I can't reach her.
Look at Penguin and the girls. Yeah? Is it just silk in there?
Yep. Yeah.
This is my scissorbeak rooster. His name is Edward Scissorbeak. And this is the little hen. Her name is Scissor Sister. I'm thinking we might actually keep her because she's really sweet. She's got a lovely personality. But she's not growing as quickly as the other ones because she just can't eat as well as they eat. This poor little fellow fell in the duck pool. And this poor little Scissorbeak can't stop eating because she can't get food in her mouth. That's a fluffy Silky. Hey, fluffy Silky. You look hot. Beak and fur. A week or so ago we went to the house of a friend of mine who's moving, and she has a whole bunch of these. When she bought them, they were for mink, these cages. And she's moving, so she can't take them all with her. So we took 6 cages from her. So one of them we're opening, 2 of them actually, we're opening up into 2 really big cages, and they'll be for our breeding males, and then we'll do another 2 cages out of that one, and that's going to be for our young babies as they grow out. But Abby has a project that she's really excited about.
A bunny maze.
A bunny maze. That's pretty cool.
How can I get out of here?
So the cages have holes right here in the side of them. So we're going to line them up so that the holes meet. And in every other one of these, we're cutting a door so that the rabbits will be able to go. There's going to be Abby wants to put a bendy tube here. So from that one into that one, and then 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 into that one. And they'll be able to go from one end of the maze to the other end of the maze. And there'll be treats and obstacles all throughout it. So right now we're cutting out little trap doors so that they can pass in through from one side to the other, which should be pretty awesome.
Hey, I heard you want to leave this place where we grew up. This old town, just put it all behind. Remember you and I would always find somewhere to hide when we were kids, so we could see and hear the water run. The river's gonna cry when you're gone. Where will you go? Won't you miss the ones you know? I'll be here hanging on, waiting for your call. Seems like time as a wave passing by, leave a mark in our marks to turn to memories. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're. The river's gonna cry when you're. The river's gonna cry when you're gone. Hey, I was hoping you would stay, but I've always known you would go find your own way. I still see when we climbed up in those trees, 12 years old, feel the wind, watch the river run, and the sun would always shine. When we sat there, you and I, the river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're. The river's gonna cry when you're.
I just found sorrel in my garden, which is really exciting because sorrel grows wild, and I had it all over the place at the girl's dad's house, and I've missed it so much, and here it is, just growing in my garden as if I planted it there among the tomatoes and the eggplants. Don't my eggplants look beautiful? My garden looks absolutely stunning this year. I can't believe how wild it is. This is the 11th of July, and everything is just so full of life and cabbage moths. I'm so happy with it. I'm gonna have to do a tour, I guess. So I've got cardoon and noodle beans and kakuzi and glass corn and Atlantic giant pumpkin and more noodle beans and loofah and cucamelons. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 8 different kinds of peppers. This plant here is fish pepper, and it has the prettiest variegated leaves on it. I'm just so in love with it. It's such a pretty plant. The peppers are just starting to form down here. See, they're stripy. These ones here are called Buena Mulata. They're 100,000 Scoville units, and I don't like spicy peppers, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with these. I've got tomatillos and banana squash and Georgia candy roasters. This plant here looks just like deadly nightshade, but it is actually called wonderberry. It's related to deadly nightshade, but these berries are edible. They unfortunately don't really taste very good. They've got lots of seeds, and they taste kind of, I mean, they're not bad. They're just a bit bland. I've got tomatoes, rows upon rows of tomatoes. There's some eggplant and some peppers in there. Tomatoes and zucchinis and eggplants. Look at them. I've got brassicas and onions and celery. Four rows. There's some carrots and some beets and some beans along with these brassicas. So this row is radishes that have gone to seed, and we eat the seed pods. This row is lettuce, and there's some dill in there as well. This row is more dill, some kale. Hi, Emma. This is Bee's friend here, but for some reason it all died. There's some rutabaga down there. There's some dill with our little friends. Okay, so I've got brassica and beans here, and brassica and beans here, and some nasturtiums. I got tomatoes here, and then this row here is potatoes, and there's also some melons planted here. I need to rebury my potatoes but it just needs to stop raining. This is where it gets a bit wild. These tomatoes need some pruning, and there's loads of marigolds here, which haven't got flowers yet for some reason. And then here I've got more tomatoes and more squash. Look at them. There's no way I could even go in there if I wanted to. And then here I've got a really big, I think this is a Georgia candy roaster, taken over down here. And then some cucumbers in here, I think. And that's sweet corn. More noodle beans. And more loofah. And more cucamelons. Another cardoon. Some more kakuzi. Some more squash. My sage. My lavender. And my chives. And my house. So I live in Canada, where it is legal to grow your own cannabis. So I do, because I'm a gardener and I like to grow stuff, even if I'm not going to use it, although I will use some of it. I start my cannabis from seed instead of buying clones, which means, unfortunately, sometimes I get males. And this beautiful plant, the tallest plant in my garden by far, turns out to be a male. That beautiful plant over there has grown balls, which are pollen sacs, but they really do look like balls, which means he's a boy. And around, when you're a cannabis grower, we commit gender-based crimes. And this guy needs to be murdered. When it comes to plants, I'm a total bleeding heart. So I don't want to kill him, which is how I ended up with seeds last year, because I just hesitated on killing the males. And it's not a bad thing to have seeds. I like to grow from seeds, and I don't really care. I'm not a purist. If my weed has seeds in it, I really don't care. I'm a gardener more than I am a stoner. So I pick seeds as a priority. But this guy's big, so he has to go. He's probably like 8 or 9 feet. Timber. So I'm starting to pull out some of the stuff that's done. Some kohlrabi and broccoli and cauliflower. That's done. I could probably harvest these cabbages if I wanted to, but I'm gonna give them another couple of days. That's an early Jersey Wakefield. This is a Copenhagen market. Look at the size of it. This is a red jewel. Nothing happening in here yet. Mostly leaves. Look at the size of that pumpkin. My tomatoes are going to be ripe soon, so when I get back I'm going to be busy canning tomatoes. Just starting to ripen. This guy's getting there. Turns out that these are pole beans and I didn't know it, so they need to be staked up. Get them all over the place. This guy, I can harvest this guy. This is a hybrid. It's really pretty.
I've been acting like a wild man, sleeping like a child. So luminous and vibrant, I'm always in bloom for you, always in times I've stranded, a castaway on an unknown shore, although a stranger in this continent, I'm always in bloom for you, always in bloom, always in bloom for you, an infatuated light.
The end of September. The sweet corn is done. The popcorn is still going. Kukuzi is still going. I just harvested 13 off of it yesterday. I've got my winter garden down here, which is just completely overgrown with radishes that reseeded themselves. I've been cutting them for salads, but I just don't eat enough salads. It looks good.
At last fall came, with its shorter days, a gearing down. More animals head to the freezer. The garden gets put to bed.
Looks great, all put to bed.
The wood stove gets fired up again, and holidays fly past.
All right, are you ready for this one, Abby?
This one looks scary. Mom, this is oh, that costume is scary. No, I'm not going.
You're not going there?
Nah. There's a clown.
There's a clown.
There's a clown.
Uh-oh.
There's a clown. There's a freaking clown. I'm not going. I'm not going. Somebody else has to get it for me. See, there's a clown.
No.
Somebody else has to do that.
Just smiling like that. Stop smiling at me.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way.
I am never gonna let go of this dragon ever. Ever. I am saying ever.
Open sleigh.
And I get some more ducks. What can I say? I'm a sucker for a good offer.
They're having a fight through the fence.
I'm sure we'll find somewhere to keep them. Next week, I'm going to fill you in on what happened in year 2 of building Erin's tiny homestead. And maybe we'll come close to catching up to the present. In the meantime, thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you next week. And I'm going to go do my dishes. Take care.